We begin this hour with a Fox News alert. Right now, smoke rising over Gaza, just hours after the Israeli cabinet approved a limited 4-day ceasefire with Hamas. The pause in fighting will take effect sometime in the next 24 hours.
So this is what we know. Under the deal, 150 Palestinian prisoners will be handed over in exchange for 50 hostages taken by the terrorist group, Brian.
All right, here we go. That includes a 3-year-old American girl whose parents were killed on October 7th. We think her name is Abigail. Jeff Paul joins us right now from Tel Aviv. Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, weeks of tense negotiations, finally with some results here in Tel Aviv. This meeting with Israeli government officials where they debated whether or not to approve this deal. It took more than 6 hours. They ended around 3:30 in the morning here local time. But under this agreement, you're going to have not only a pause in the fighting, but this release of hostages, which you got to think about for all the families of the hostages. It gives them a bit of hope that there is some good news on the horizon. Now, under this brokered deal that involved the U.S., Qatars, and Egyptians, Israel will get 50 hostages released to them from Hamas. These will be women and children. In exchange, Israel will release 150 Palestinian prisoners. The hostages, as we understand, will be released in groups of about 10 to 12 over a span of 4 to 5 days. Each of those days when hostages are released, there'll be a pause in the fighting. Now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been under increasing pressure from the families of the hostages. He said this was a tough decision, but he believes it was the right decision. But he also added their campaign to crack Hamas will continue.
We are at war, and we will continue this war until we achieve all our goals: to eliminate Hamas, to bring back all of our hostages and missing people, and to ensure that in Gaza there will be no factor that threatens Israel.
Now, Hamas released a statement regarding the agreement, saying in part, "We affirm that our fingers remain on the trigger and our victorious fighters will remain on the lookout to defend our people and defeat the occupation." Now, again, we could see that first batch of hostages released as soon as tomorrow. We're hearing the ceasefire could start at 10 a.m. local time, so that is good news. And in past hostage releases, we've seen the hostages taken to the Rafah crossing. They get into Egypt, and then they're choppered back here to somewhere in Israel. They're going to go to the hospital, get checked out, and eventually they'll be talking to Israeli security about the things they saw and the things they experienced. Send it back to you all.
Yeah, to get the rest of them out, let's hope. Jeff, thanks so much. That would be a rescue rather than a release. Let's bring in Mossad veteran Oded Ailam. He's live from Tel Aviv. Oded, thanks for joining us. Is this a deal you would do?
Thanks for having me, first of all. And I wouldn't call it a deal, but it's more of sort of a blackmail. But under the circumstances, morality overrides the objections of the war, which is to eradicate the Hamas. So this is more or less the same deal that was on the table in the beginning of the invasion into Gaza, with a few changes and a little bit flexibility of both sides. But it's more or less the same deal.
It's just worth pointing out that there's an explosion on the right, it looks like.
They're getting hit. Which goes to my next point, Oded. Sinwar is on the ropes right now. We know Israeli special forces have been hitting him hard. Plus, you got your infantrymen, the ground game, as well as the air support. So the question is, did they come to the negotiation table because they're fractured and they need some time to regroup?
Absolutely. This is exactly the point right now. The Hamas right now is, as you said, is on the rope, but it does not feel that it's going to be eradicated. Not now. Mm-hmm. We need to use much more force in order to convince him that this is its last chance, and then maybe in the future, the near future, we can get a better deal.
Oded, in the original reporting before the Israeli government and then Hamas agreed to this hostage negotiation. You called it blackmail, and I understand why you say that. The original reporting was that Iran would have to agree not to use drone surveillance over Gaza. Do you know if that is included in the final deal?
It's difficult to say what is included in the final deal or not, but I think eventually in the next few hours, we will all know what is included in the final deals. Right now, it seems that this is included in the final deal, which actually it hinders Israeli efforts to gather intelligence on the ground. You must understand the most fundamental intelligence that being gathered is on the ground. It's by troops, it's by drones, it's by documents, and whatever you have access to. So this hinders, in a way, our ability to see how the Hamas is going to regain its force, change its position, and even reach more hostages.
Oded, so right now they've been in there for about 3 weeks inside. They're able to go into a mosque. I understand one of the big stories yesterday, they went into a mosque and saw a whole weapons depot and weapons plant inside a mosque. So they have information on the ground. The CIA, evidently our special forces also on the ground. How much information and intelligence can we get if there is a drone, which they're all undetectable by the eye, above, to see where these hostages emerge? How valuable is that?
Enormous. Because right now, the Hamas will use the pose, and I call it the pose, for a few purposes. First of all, to regain supply. Second, to move hostages where they are in a place that the Hamas thinks are not safe enough for their purposes. And the most important thing is to have an overall view of the Israeli forces on the ground. Because you have to take into consideration, the Hamas does not have the full picture where we are and what we are doing, because they are partially blinded by the fact that they have to hide in the tunnels. This will enable them to see the overall picture, and this can be a major risk to the Israeli forces that are right now on the ground.
So, I guess the next question would be, okay, we know part of the negotiation with Hamas, but what does this mean for the Houthi rebels? What does this mean for Hezbollah? Do they pause as well? Or are they going to be assisting Hamas trying to get some of their major commanders out of town? Because I think that's part of the calculus here. They can always reorganize and get more folks on the ground, but they need their leaders to stay in place for their ideology purposes, right?
Absolutely. I think the Hamas is trying desperately to gain support from the Houthi, from Hezbollah, from Iraq, and from other places, and especially from the West Bank. Right now, they had failed on all fronts. I mean, the Hezbollah is joining the war, but on a very, very medium scale. So, of course, the Houthi and the Hezbollah will try to, let's say, increase their effort for support, but I'm not sure how much it is working and how much it's actually supporting the Hamas leaders.
Because a lot of people feel as though if Hezbollah has got to be neutralized at the end of this conflict, because a lot of people in Israel do not feel safe, even if Hamas is virtually defeated and destroyed. Thanks so much for joining us, Oded. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You got it.
Of course, happy Thanksgiving. Turning to a Fox weather alert, a powerful storm system pounding more than 30 states with snow and plenty of rain here on the East Coast, Brian.
All right, Lawrence, the storm is disrupting Thanksgiving travel plans at airports across America on what could be the busiest travel day in American history, and we are 248 years young. Right now, folks are pouring into airports across the country to get to their holiday destinations.
Dating all the way back to 1776.
It was
Can you believe
not that trafficy
the
then.
busiest day.
Right.
And this is bad news on the busiest day. More than 370 flights are delayed this morning, with another 40 canceled. Let's check in with senior meteorologist Janice Dean for our Fox weather forecast in this historic moment.
Yes,
Janice.
history in the making right here. We had 2.5 million people, or close to it, passing through the TSA checkpoint. That's up from 180,000, or 180,000 more than last year. So let's take a look at it. We've got 1,400 flights in the air, 352 delays, 40 cancellations, the worst delays right now in Atlanta, New York, and Los Angeles. And we have that coastal storm that is moving offshore. That's part of the problem along the East Coast. Temperatures ahead of the front, warmer than average, except when you go up to New England and Canada, where we've got snow flying, and that's going to disrupt things. And even though this storm is going to move offshore, it's the winds behind it that will cause delays and the cancellations. So even though the radar looks good, you know, the winds will definitely cause some issues in the air. Here's the snow still to come for parts of New England. Certainly Maine will get the bullseye of over a foot in some areas. So that front moves offshore. That's the same storm system that brought the severe weather, including tornadoes this week. And then a new storm system moves into the northwest. Otherwise, a pretty good looking forecast as we get into Thanksgiving. We do have that new storm system moving across the Rockies, and that's going to bring some snow, a white Thanksgiving. But for the rest of the country, pretty good and above average for a lot of folks. If there is a silver lining, you are delayed. Tomorrow is a better day, and Friday will be good as well in terms of weather and getting to Grandma's house. Fingers crossed.
News.
You know, JD, I'm digging the turtleneck.
Well, thank you.
I like that. That's stylish.
This is my favorite time of year for
This is the perfect
fashion.
time to bring them out.
Yep.
I used to beg my mom not to have to wear them.
Why?
I felt like I was choking to death.
Have you worn one
I know a lot of
since?
kids feel
I
that
go
way.
mock turtle. Mock turtle.
The
That's
small.
very 80s.
Right. I'm like, please,
I've not seen
please
that.
don't make me wear it.
Do you have pictures somewhere
Yeah, I'll get one.
of you as a young child
It's
with
the
a
worst.
turtleneck?
Picture day, I had to wear a turtleneck. No one's wearing turtlenecks. She didn't believe me.
Your mom
Poor
just wanted to
Brian.
keep you warm.
Right.
That's so sweet.
But just to get over your head, I guess I had a big head. Just to get over your head, I felt for a moment I could lose breath.
If they could have extra large turtleneck,
Right.
that would be you. Extra large.
Now we know
that
what we're
would
getting
help.
Brian for Christmas.
Better than
turtleneck.
that. Hated turtleneck.
All right, thanks, Janice.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.